I still remember that part of 2024 like it happened yesterday. Hot, humid city nights, living in a small, cramped condo, and a constant feeling of anxiety sitting heavy in my chest because my board exam was only a few months away. I was staying in a small condominium in the city with 3 friends. All of us were buried in review books, practice exams, and occasional emotional breakdowns that we tried to hide as coffee breaks. Like many stressed people in their 20s, stuck between pressure and burnout, I thought distracting myself with someone new was a good idea. That's when I met him. Let's call him Michael. I don't know if it was boredom, loneliness, or being tired of thinking about formulas, but I found him attractive right away. At first, he was charming, calm, funny. He replied quickly, but not too quickly. It felt like he had mastered the perfect balance between interest and being chill. We started talking every day, then every night. Before I even realized it, we were dating, or at least something that felt like dating. In the beginning, Michael seemed like everything a normal person would want. He was respectful, attentive, and easy to talk to. We would stay on calls for hours while I lay on my thin condo mattress, staring at the ceiling, listening to his voice fill the room. The only strange thing was that he never showed his face during calls. He said his phone had been stolen and the laptop he was using had a broken camera. At first, I didn't question it, but slowly, small red flags started appearing, like notifications I kept swiping away. The biggest red flag was how his tone changed whenever the conversation became even slightly intimate. Suddenly, he would ask me for explicit selfies every single time. I shut it down firmly each time. I wasn't comfortable with that, especially online. I told him clearly, but it felt like talking to someone who refused to listen. He knew exactly what he was doing. We argued about it often. He would push, I would refuse, and he would sulk. Sometimes he apologized. Sometimes he respected my boundaries. But the next day, he would ask again, like we never fought about it before. The cycle became exhausting. Despite all of this, I still wanted to meet him in person. I wanted to know if this connection was real or if I was just falling for a voice on the other side of a screen. But every single time I suggested meeting up, he had an excuse. He was busy. He had errands. He didn't feel well. He wasn't in the city. He had a family issue. There was always an emergency. The answer was always soon, but soon never came. Somewhere between the late-night calls, the excuses, the constant sexual pressure, and the growing feeling in my stomach, something inside me started to change. Something wasn't right about Michael, and I felt it long before I admitted it. My friends had been warning me for weeks. Every time he avoided meeting me, every time he made excuses about his camera, every time he pushed for explicit photos while refusing to show his face. One night, while we were reviewing in the living room, one of my friends asked, "Does he not show himself on video calls at all?" "Not even for a second?" Another one added. I shrugged and repeated the same excuse I had told them many times before. His phone got stolen, his laptop camera is broken. They looked at me like I had just said something unbelievable. "Marie, come on," one of them said gently. "If he really wanted to see you, he would find a way. Even a 10-year-old laptop has a camera. Something is wrong." I knew they were right. Deep down, I felt it too. But I kept defending him. I told myself he wouldn't call me every day if he wasn't serious. I convinced myself he was just dealing with personal issues. I believed the version of him he wanted me to believe. Then December came, just weeks before Christmas. With hope and denial mixed together, I invited him to come over, meet my family, and spend Christmas with us. He sounded excited. He said yes immediately. No excuses, no hesitation. For the first time, I allowed myself to believe everything might work out. I imagined a sweet Christmas introduction, a meet my boyfriend moment, maybe even a fresh start. But the day before we were supposed to meet, everything fell apart. I was sitting on the condo couch reviewing flashcards when he called me. His breathing was uneven and shaky. At first, I thought he was stressed. Then I realized he was crying. "Can we talk?" he whispered. My body went cold. After struggling to speak, he finally admitted the truth. He said he was a catfish. My heart dropped instantly. He confessed everything. The photos were fake. They were taken from an Indonesian influencer. His name was fake. His job was fake. His nationality was fake. He lied about everything. My head was spinning. I felt sick. My skin crawled as if I didn't even know who I had been talking to. Then he sent me a picture of his real face. He claimed he was still 24, but honestly, he looked much older. Suddenly, everything made sense. The pressure for explicit photos, his anger when I refused, his constant excuses for not meeting. Knowing who he really was made his past behavior feel 10 times more disturbing. When I told him I wanted to break up, he exploded. He accused me of being shallow. He said I only liked him because of the fake pictures. He said I was just like everyone else. I was shocked. He lied and manipulated me, yet somehow I was blamed. He yelled. I cried. He blamed me, then apologized, then begged. It was emotional manipulation happening all at once. Then he said something that terrified me. He begged me to let him stay with my family for Christmas. He said he already told his parents he wouldn't be home. He claimed he had nowhere else to go. I stared at my phone in disbelief. I said no. I muted him. I blocked his number. I refused to let him ruin my holiday. I spent Christmas peacefully with my family, exactly what I needed. But the story didn't end there. Michael didn't accept the breakup. He didn't disappear. Almost a year passed, and life felt normal again. I focused on myself, my hobbies, and my friends. I became active on Instagram again. I started posting selfies, life updates, and cosplay photos I was proud of. What I forgot was that Michael and I were still following each other. One night, after posting a few stories, I got a message request. It was Michael. Seeing his name made my stomach drop. I didn't open the message. I locked my phone and tried to ignore it. But the messages kept coming. Eventually, I opened the chat, and my body froze. He had sent a photo of the front of my house. My parents weren't home. I locked every door immediately. I ran upstairs and locked my bedroom door. Then I called the police. While I was on the phone, I heard knocking, then pounding. He was outside, yelling my name. "Please open the door, we can talk," he shouted. I hid by my bed while the dispatcher told me to stay calm. Police arrived quickly. I heard shouting outside, then silence. They arrested him. When officers came to check on me, they told me he was carrying a knife. I almost collapsed. I didn't know what he planned to do, but every possibility was terrifying. I had to tell my parents everything, every lie, every ignored red flag. They were upset, but mostly they were relieved I was alive. My mom hugged me like I had survived something terrible. Even now, remembering the words, "He was holding a knife," still sends chills through my body.